Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's I, Greg Miller, co-founder, CEO of KindaFunny.com, here on the set of the Kinda Funny Gamescast, and you may be saying this is an awkward beginning to the GameOverGreggy show, and I agree with you, it is an awkward beginning to the GameOverGreggy show. I come with terrible news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Kevin opened up his computer and discovered that he did not have the first 5 minutes of our show for the GameOverGreggy show. Now, at which point we said, oh, Kevin, how cute. I'll open up the backup files and get the first 5 minutes of the GameOverGreggy show. I opened up the backup files, no 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, gone. And now you might say, you didn't click record. We clicked record. The numbered files show that there was a file before this file, but it mysteriously disappeared without any interference from anyone else in the world. So the Lord Jesus Christ himself came down and smacked this file back down to hell. And I wish I could explain when this happened. I wish I could have seen him do it. I wish maybe that I wasn't having sex out of wedlock all the time, and this is why he was punishing me like this. But some things can't change, ladies and gentlemen, and we've lost the first 5 minutes of the GameOverGreggy show. Now, you might say, no big deal. The first 5 to 7 to 20 to 30 minutes of the GameOverGreggy show every week are just bullshit. It's just you guys sitting around talking about mocha lattes and whatever the hell Kevin's mad about this week. But here's what I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen. This is an especially bad time. Kevin, how many shows we've done? 96. This is the 96. God dang it. We've never had something like this happen before. You say, no big deal. We've had a lot. We screwed up something for Jacob Spellman. Jacob Spellman went over to patreon.com/kindafunny, supported us to come be on this show. That's right. 1 out of 96 times we had to screw up the one time we had somebody who paid to come be on our dumb show. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Jacob Spellman.
Yay.
Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Good. How mad at me are you?
I'm not mad at all. You guys have technical difficulties over there all the time, so it's not a big surprise.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse. Like, I hate the technical difficulties. I hate that that's an excuse for us. That's one of the reasons, and the garbage truck on fire and all that. It's not cool to me, damn it.
Well, it's fine to be part of the process. At least I got to be part of one of the misfunctions, so it's all.
Well, I mean, that's true. You're on a show that's making history.
Yeah.
This has never happened. I'll tell you right now, there's never been a GameOverGreggy show that opened with a guest that's a one-on-one Skype interview.
Yeah, so
luckily, like I said, we only missed the first 5 minutes of this show. So we just missed the normal rambling trash we talked about. So tell me, what did we talk about? What was our rambling trash? What were we talking about?
I think Colin was talking about the word brick and how it hails from the East Coast.
You're right. That was the thing. Because it was cold. We were talking about Grimecraft had been on the last show, and words that had been invented because he's lit and sus. And then Colin did invent brick.
Yeah.
And he says out on the East Coast it's cold. It's brick cold out there.
Nick was confused because he thought it was just a basketball term, which I was in the same boat. Whereas when you miss a shot, you throw up a brick. So
exactly, that's what I thought too.
There's some real deep conversation going on there.
Yeah, so honestly, that's pretty much that's a 30-second synopsis of everything you people missed out in YouTube and MP3 land. So not that much, which is great. But I would have gone producer/deducer, Nick Scarpino. I would have gone Pure One, Tim Gettys. I would have gone Prolog Island, Colin Moriarty, and I would have said a special guest, Jacob Spellman. Jacob Spellman.
What's up?
I don't feel like we didn't touch on this. It all happened so fast, your episode. There's like sand through our hands every time. Number one, where are you from? I'm
from Pacific Grove, California.
Number two, why did you give us money on patreon.com/kindafunny to come be part of the show?
Oh, I just like what you guys do. You guys have started up a big, just kind of a project based off of passion. And I'm passionate about, the subject that I brought up was travel. So I don't know, it's just something that I felt was important. And I think my big thing was just I was confused why Americans don't travel as much. So I just wanted to talk about it.
Now, you say that, and like that's what's interesting and part of your intro. Oh, my topic's travel. I'm confused why Americans don't travel more. I follow my passion, and my passion is travel. Yeah. You say that, and it sounds like just like, oh, people like to travel. Sure, Troy Baker goes a lot of places, but you tore apart your life. That's you're this fascinating individual. You tore apart your life. So you go to college, and you where do you go to college?
Just Sonoma State University. Go Seawolves.
You get a degree in what? What's your degree in?
Business management and human resources.
So then you leave and you start making money hand over fist.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's better money than it was good enough, yeah.
So how long did you go into you go into this corporate job, and like what happens?
I don't know, I realized that I always wanted to travel, and I didn't do it, but I'd saved up all this money to do it. So I mean, there's no time like the present, so I just quit, bought a one-way ticket and he went.
That's not what people do, Jacob. That's not you don't
But
go
they
to work for 2 years and then decide I've saved up money to travel. You saved up that money for your life, son, for what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I'm gonna go travel more.
Oh my God. So you tear up, you go into this corporate life and then you decide to blow it all up, tear it apart. Yeah, I want you to know that I talked about you on the Super Knockin' Boots podcast because I went and recorded that the next day.
Oh, did you?
And I talked about how here's the silver lining to this whole fuggalablug is the fact that we still have your topic. We still have your topic in full because I was enraptured with everything you said on this. It's rare that I meet someone because nobody comes to my house anymore. But it's rare that I meet someone whose story is so crazy that I got to sit back in awe and listen to it. You get a job. You're doing everything right, Jacob. You're working out clearly. You're being sexy. All these girls like you. They love you. You go to college. You get the degree. You get a good job. You start making money. Then you're supposed to get married, have a kid, get a house, get in crippling debt. The kids move away and don't talk to you anymore. Then you slowly start to die. That's the path.
Yeah, it's the dream. The dream.
But when did you know that it was time to shake off the regular dream and travel the world?
It's just something that I want to do. One of my good friends talked to me about it, and I'd always kind of had it in the back of my mind, but he really sold it to me. So I was hoping I could just maybe come on your show and maybe do that the same thing for all the people out there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what he did. If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, sometimes one person through Skype get together and bring a random topic of discussion for you. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny. Give us some money and you get each and every episode early. Then, if you don't want to give us any money, we totally understand. Head over to youtube.com/kindoffunny where you get every topic broken out day by day, topic by topic, until we post the entire thing for free. I didn't do the table pound by the right way because it's just depressing that you're not here to pound on the table with me, Jacob.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I missed it anyways, so it's all good.
I know. That's we can hide that. And maybe I won't spoil it. Maybe at the end of the episode, Jacob pounds it out like nobody's business.
Of course.
Just throwing it out there for you. So we now join the Game Over Greggy show in progress, where Jacob is just caught up on the fact that, yes, he had this perfect life with money and security, and he decided to throw it all away and travel the world. Jacob, thank
thanks,
you.
Greg. It's always a pleasure.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure with you, sir. Let's join the show.
It's not the best decision.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's just real bad. No one tells you how bad it is. So I just kind of went on this epic quest of avoiding adult responsibilities. I bought a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia. I tooled around there for like 6 months. I got a working holiday.
Wait. Did you have like a house? Did you know where you were going?
No. I just bought like a ticket and just kind of
You just
out.
went.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I'll stay for 3 months, maybe 6. A year and a half later, I finally came home. So.
How much did you have money going into this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have a life when I worked my corporate job, so I saved up a lot, and I was like, okay, maybe I should spend this.
How much money do you need to be able to make that type of thing? Because I know a lot of people that are trying to go to do trips, and they're like, they're saving. It sounds like it's a shit ton of money.
It's not a lot. No. It's like if you go to like third world countries and stuff like that, it's super cheap. Like that's not necessarily for everyone. If you're going to Europe or something like that, it's definitely more expensive. But I lived in Australia for a year, and
governor!
Just like that.
Greg,
It's exactly how they sound.
The epitome of the third world country.
Yeah, exactly.
Australia. That's why they call it down under.
This is true. And I had a working holiday visa over there, so I actually worked while I was over there. And places like that, you need some sort of income to like travel around. But yeah.
Now, what type of work did you do?
So my first job there was a door-to-door salesman. So I did that, and then
What were you selling?
groceries. This is weird. Yeah, it's like a delivery service. They deliver.
That's not a salesman. It's a delivery service.
No, but you have to sell the service to people. So you go around knocking on people's doors. I basically used it like they gave me an iPad with internet, so I would just go to a park and look for other jobs while I was there. But like it was just basically I just knock on people's doors. They'd invite me in. I'd be like, I'm not gonna sell you this, but I need the money. So I would do that.
How many like housewives open the door and they're like in negligees and such?
Not a lot. No.
Not a lot.
No.
At some point, did the following happen?
Okay.
You had sex with a housewife.
I did not have sex with a housewife.
Houseman.
I know. No.
House husband, I guess.
House
No.
18-year-old. Or I guess...
The house.
The house? Yeah.
What are you doing? Get out of here, you crazy American.
Giving us all a bad name over there, yeah. But
Well,
yeah.
I have a question about this too.
Okay.
You weren't trying to sell, but did you make any sales anyway?
Yeah, I did. Of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great service already, I can tell you.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
It's burning hot outside. I don't want to go outside in Australia. You just send me the food.
You get a sunburn just by walking around. Yeah,
exactly.
it's terrible. Yeah.
But you might get attacked by a kangaroo.
They're very vicious.
Is that true?
No.
Are they just chilling?
Well, they're there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see any kangaroos? Do you make any
Oh, yeah.
friends?
I worked on a golf course too, and there was like kangaroos everywhere. It's like Jurassic Park. They just kind of like hopped around and stuff. It's tight.
That's the best statement ever.
Yeah.
There's kangaroos everywhere.
I was like-
Tim's eyes just
I
lit
was just
up.
driving
He's
around my
like-
little cart, around the golf course, and there'd just be like a herd of kangaroos just hopping next to me. It was tight. Yeah.
That sounds tight. I
Yeah.
like that.
And then
Until they eat each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're vicious.
Kangaroos, I mean, they seem like they can fuck you up. I've never
They
seen one
can.
fucking
No, they
anything up.
can.
But like, you see them sometimes. Like, I've seen pictures. I haven't ever actually seen a kangaroo. But they look like freaking wrestlers.
yeah,
You know?
they're jacked.
They're jacked as fuck.
Yeah.
That's why the whole boxing thing comes in.
Yeah.
You get a box of kangaroo.
But they're not the scary thing. There's scarier stuff in Australia.
What's scarier?
Spiders.
Spiders, yeah.
The spiders.
Yeah, I had a huntsman spider in my house, and they're like literally like this big.
So
See, that's
at
like
that point, does it?
evacuate the premises.
Yeah. At that point,
situation.
does the thing just get your house?
Was
like,
it?
oh, you won. Like you got
You're
it.
the
You-
landlord. now, bye.
They became new roommates. They were just kind of like hanging out here, hanging out
Oh
there.
my
They-
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
No
Lord.
thanks. Did you
How
kill
did you
it?
react to
No,
this?
I tried to kill it, but you can't kill him. It's
Like
tough.
unless you have a
Don't do
fire
it.
axe. Or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort
You
of
don't want.
double
You don't
barrel
want to do
shotgun.
it. You don't want to fuck with those things.
Spider catches the axe.
You've
Like
seen
a
the
ninja.
picture of like them or like the video of them like jumping off the walls of people, like people trying to catch them, right? Have you seen
my
those before?
God.
No,
Oh,
they're
it's bad. Yeah.
This
They're-
already
the
makes
guy's
me
like
feel
slowly
tense.
coming up
Yeah.
and then it jumps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Does
right,
it-
good topic. Next topic.
That's
Getting
terrifying.
anxiety over here. Yeah.
That's
I
terrifying.
hate spiders.
What else- was there any cool animals?
Oh yeah, like there's echidnas.
Like
wall-
Knuckles?
Yeah. Only he doesn't look anything like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what a real echidna looks like.
Yeah, just kind of a dumb-looking hedgehog. Yeah.
Yeah, Knuckles.
Well, Australia's been isolated. There's all sorts of weird animals that evolved there.
Yeah.
The man of war, I think, is in the ocean, right over there too. The most deadly.
The Man of War?
The man of war. It's a deadly, like small.
Yeah.
Octopus?
The little the jellyfish.
Yeah, the
Oh,
small
jellyfish.
jellyfish.
Yeah, it's as big as your pinky. Like I went
And it
to.
can fucking kill you.
Yeah, I went to this place and they're like, it was like this beach and like, okay, you can go in the water, but here's your stink suit, so put that on before you go. And so
Stink suit?
you're just like dressed in like all black, like
No,
It's like,
see,
okay.
right there, I'd be like, you know what? I'm good.
I'm just
gonna
not
stay
gonna go in
on
the
the
water.
beach.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need a sting suit, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm good. Not gonna
Yeah.
get in the water.
That's like, hey, here's you're going to Starbucks. Here's your bulletproof vest.
It's
Alright,
gonna
Throw
get
it in
rough.
there.
All right, so sorry. Southeast Asia.
Yes.
But wait. Australia's not Southeast Asia, so I'm curious
No.
where
Well,
I'm curious
yeah, I
where
was
you
doing
were.
the Indiana Jones.
Oh,
thing.
So okay, well, do you want to know
need to
how
see
I
it.
got to Australia? Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
okay.
You could back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because you were talking about third world countries and all that kind of stuff. Australia is not
It's
a third world
definitely not.
country.
No,
in
it's
Southeast
very
Asia.
developed.
Yeah,
It's
so I'm
very
curious. What did you go to, like Vietnam or Laos or something like that?
I went to Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia.
Wow, so pretty much everywhere.
Yeah,
How many tuk-tuks did you take?
a ton.
Yeah.
Too many. Yeah.
Tuk-tuks are awesome.
Yeah,
What
they're
are they? I
fun.
don't know what you're talking about.
They're little...
Like motorcycle cabs, basically.
motorcycle
Oh,
cabs,
okay.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And how much did it like? All right, so Malaysia. How much did it cost you to live there for a month? Like,
It's not expensive. Like
But what is your quality of life when you're in Malaysia, not spending money? Because this is
It's-
why...
let him
I asked
answer
that
the
'cause
question.
I
Let
went
him
to-
answer the question.
Yeah.
I'm,
Alright.
curious,
So
I'm curious
it's-
about the number.
He's taking no further
so
questions.
there's you can stay in hostels, which aren't that bad. Like if you want to stay in a place where there's a bed and air conditioning, you can probably spend like roughly probably like $6 a night. So like
Okay.
so staying there, like if you really want to spoil yourself, like $10 a night will get you like a really nice place.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like you can just like it's really just a place with a high barrier to entry because the plane ticket is what the big cost is. Once you get there, it's just kind of you can just do whatever you want. So yeah, it's really cheap. Like doing anything is like my first month in Thailand, I didn't even hit my rent that I was paying up in Santa Rosa. So like my rent alone up like in California, I didn't spend that my first month over there. So
Wow.
it's super cheap. It's affordable. You can still do a lot of cool shit while you're over there, and because it's so cheap. And then yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to do. And then like the best part, I mean, there's cool stuff to do, but like the best part of it is meeting people. Like it's a really good way to interact with people. You're kind of separated from technology and everything, and you can just kind of connect with people in different ways. And it's just good for like globalization and everything. Like you get to see how other people live their lives, and you get to meet people from like I didn't really understand like what was different between British people and Australian people until I actually met them. I was like, oh, it's just like United States, only they talk funny. It's a lot different. It's a lot different
In the
than
UK
that.
or in Australia?
Both. Well, I met UK people over there because
Okay.
they're everywhere. So yeah, so it's good to just kind of meet people from different countries and actually be able to talk to them and connect to them, and through travel and everything. So it's fun.
So you're bouncing around,
Yeah.
and you're just like, whenever you get sick of a place, you're like, I'm gonna move on to the next
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It's like, Colin, I know you always talk about like you want to retire and you just want to be like not have to do anything. It's like that.
As soon as possible.
It's like that. I did that for like a year and a half. You just wake up and you're just like, well, what am I gonna do today? And you can just maybe I'll read all day, maybe I'll go do this, maybe I'll get on a bus to the next place. You're just kind of at your leisure. You can do whatever you
Were you
want.
just living out of one backpack?
Yeah, I had a 45-liter backpack and I lived out of that for a year and a half.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So that, see, I wouldn't be able to exist in that. I would get decision paralysis. There's too much stuff to do. I would just end up doing nothing every single time. It's just like Netflix.
Yeah.
Where I've got too many things, too many options to pick from, and I would be useless. I need structure.
Well, yeah.
I need to know that if I don't have like 50 things to do, like if I don't have Tim and Greg and Kevin texting me at midnight saying, hey, I need this lower third name bar for our guest that I totally forgot to ask you about before you left, but now I'm going to interrupt you during your wife time.
Okay.
Yeah, midnight's wife time. That's right.
It is
Midnight's
correct.
not wife time.
Midnight's key prime wife time.
No, not for Nick Scarpino's wife.
And my wife's
She
been
knocks
asleep
out
for
at like 9:30.
No, that's like midnight. Midnight's right around the time I'm going to bed. 11 o'clock's more like play video game time. So yeah, but that's my thing. It's like that's the thing with me with travel is that it seems harder than it needs to be. Like it seems like you would get out there and then you just have to make a bunch of decisions. And you have to figure out how to feed yourself, and then if you screw up, you'll die.
You won't.
Or get put into a Thai prison.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
the thing. That's like a
Get
lot.
caned.
That was like the biggest thing I heard when people like when I got back. Like, well, weren't you scared? Like, I mean, if there was somebody that should have ended up dead in a cave with all their organs being sold on like on the black market, it's me. Like,
Would be you.
I'm like 5'8". I weigh 130 to 135 pounds. Like, these fly swatters aren't fighting anybody off. Like, I
you're
can't.
wiry.
Yeah, but it's just like it's not. You are not in any danger like at all while you're over there.
I'm not. I wouldn't be so much worried about that because, as we all know, I have martial arts
It's
training.
true. Shadow boxing.
I mean, I'm number one in the nation so far.
Number one in the nation
So
in
far.
shadowboxing.
So far, I mean, it's the world keeps moving, as Colin will tell you, from east to west. But I would be more worried about not being able to. I would be more worried about getting into a position where I'm like, shit, I'm out of money, and now I have to sell my body
Well, that happened.
to the night.
That happened actually because like when I went to Australia.
Wait, which
What-
part?
hold on. Let's talk more about that part.
The running out of money part. I didn't have to sell my body, but yeah, when I was because when I decided to go to Australia, it was kind of like a last minute decision. So like I knew some British guys like, oh, we're just gonna go to Australia. I worked there, and I was like, okay, I'll go there. And I arrived in Australia with $700, and that's not enough money to survive in Australia with for very long.
Yeah.
So I ran out of money pretty quick. And I got to a point, I landed the door-to-door sales job, like right when I'd paid off my last week at my hostel. So I had $2 in my pocket, and I went down to my hostel. I remember I bought like this bag of salted, salt vinegar chips. And I just sat on my couch. I'm like, it's gonna be interesting how this plays out. And I started my job the next day. I did the door-to-door sales thing. I made enough money to pay off my hostel, and I had $25 to buy food. And I just did that until I found another job, and then I just kind of worked my way back and started traveling around Australia. So the first month there was pretty rough, but
And then when you're traveling, are you getting jobs in these other places that you're staying?
not
or?
in like in Australia, yeah. So I lived in Perth, Melbourne, and Sydney. And then I kind of traveled around to like Brisbane, Cairns, and Tasmania as well. So, but yeah, every time I went to like a city, and like I'd stay there for like 3 to 4 months and just kind of work and save
Okay.
up. Yeah.
So you just found something to kind of keep you going. And
Yeah. I had like a bar job. Like, and the pay over in Australia is insane. Like if you're young and you live in America or the UK, I'd really recommend like just trying to check out like a working holiday visa in Australia. It's like if you're under 30, you can go and live there a year if you're American, 2 years if you're from the UK. And
Bullshit. That's some bullshit right there.
well, we make it impossible to get into this country legally, of course. But
I just think that everyone hates Americans. That's why.
no.
Because we're number one, right, Colin?
We are number one, but
Who
it
gave
makes
you
sense.
the
It makes
iPhone?
sense. They're in the Commonwealth, right?
Who built
So
it? Who made it up?
That's
yeah,
why
it's weird.
should-
The Queen of England is on all their money, which is weird, but whatever. But yeah, it's cool to check out like the pay in Australia is insane. Like I worked a job as I worked at a bar, and I would just pick up empty glasses and make fun of drunk Australians, and I'd made like $23 to $45 an hour.
What?
Yeah. Like depending on the holidays, like if I worked on holidays 45, if it was on the weekend it'd be 35, and just any other day I'd be making 25. So I lived in Sydney. I was working maybe 3 days a week, and I would just be able to live.
Damn.
And it wasn't like I was living a luxurious life. I don't want to throw that out there. But if I worked like more, I probably could have been living pretty well. But just for what I wanted to do, just kind of like cruise around
just to
everything.
subsidize. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Did you have a girlfriend going into this? Do you have a girlfriend now?
No.
How was that experience not having a girlfriend, being single
That's good.
around the world?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
it's good.
That's good.
Real
Cool.
good.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That
I feel
American
like-
accent.
I feel like it goes without saying that he didn't have a girlfriend or a significant other.
I mean,
going into this
I don't
because
know. Things
There's
happen.
no way that I can
It's-
live for
it's
$700 a day with my wife. I need more than that. If we were like, for instance, you talk about how it's cheap to travel to Thailand. Not my experience when I was on my honeymoon.
Yeah. Well, it depends.
Probably because I stayed at the Four Seasons.
Yeah. If you're staying in nice places, then you're kind of taking that out the window.
That was a pain in the ass. I was like, oh, it's going to be so cheap when we get there. But
How much was it?
The Four Seasons?
Yeah.
We got a deal where I think
Deal.
we paid everything ahead of time, and it was roughly
And I'm ballparking here.
ballparking $400 a night.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been more for the weekend.
Hey, it's
nights.
your honeymoon. Live
No,
it up.
we
Yeah.
splurged.
No, you
To be
go
fair,
big.
yeah, we saved and we splurged. It's not something we're going to do all the time, but that's my.
You're only gonna do that once, maybe 3 times in your life.
I do. Well, I mean, no. I mean, like that's the problem with me right now. Is currently like in order to travel. I'm doing it once. That's it. I'm not doing it again. In order to travel, though, it's unfortunate, but I'm in a place in my life where, especially with my significant other, that she wants to have some level of comfort. And so what you're talking about is the fun travel that everyone ought to do when they're in their early 20s.
How old are you, or how old were you when the trip happened?
I left when I was 24, going on 25. I'm 27 right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Perfect timing for that, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you did sort of what you were supposed to quote unquote do.
Yeah, supposed
which
to,
was
yeah.
go to. I mean, I assume you went to college or school.
Yeah.
Graduated, got the corporate gig, and then of course the next step in your life was going to be to find someone and immediately have kids with them, and then be
Yeah, the
miserable
American
for the rest of your
dream,
life.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's American
yeah.
dream. And then maybe go on to a second or third divorce to the point where you have no money for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
which is great. That's how we do it here.
That's
That's
what we
how
wanna
the
do.
economy keeps going. So I that's where you say, oh, let's travel, and I immediately get that anxiety of like, oh man, this is going to cost me so much because I have 2 plane tickets, I have hotel stays at nice places, because when I like to go out there, and when we went to Thailand, it was fun because you'd go out into the heat and the craziness and the chaos, and you'd see that, and then you'd be like, okay, this is really overwhelming, because I'm sure you're familiar with
culture shock
Thailand's
is
overwhelming.
Yeah.
They just have a ton of people, especially if you're in Bangkok. It's all kind of like on top of you. There's a smell factor that you have to think about that you don't think about when you see pictures. And it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. And if you want, you can get away to one of the 3 gigantic mega malls that they have there, or you can go into the world and see some of the temples and some of the cool stuff. But it was nice to come back to like, hey, Mr. Scarpino, how you doing? Like, do you need anything?
Going somewhere and they have what you're looking for, not just going around and talking to a bunch of people. And it's
they have like guides.
It's like a
and
side
things
quest
like
or something.
I think Mr. Scarpino is the thing that bothers me most about that whole story.
They called me Mr. Scarpino.
I don't appreciate the
Dr.
blending
Gettys.
of being laid back and officialness in that sentence. Oh, hey, Mr. Scarpino. It's like, hey, fucking straighten your tie, sit up straight, and I'm calling me Mr. Scarpino.
Yeah.
Hello, good day. You don't know anything, Thailand.
Do not leave the room until I've told you to leave the room, and never turn your back to me. That's how I roll. But no, I always thought about that, and I had a lot of friends that did that, right? Like they would either take a year off college to go do a summer abroad or a year abroad or something like that, or they would. I had a couple of friends that like literally were like, I'm not going to get a job. I've saved up some money, and I'm just going to go. But that I was always way too. I guess conservative to do that. I was like, no. You're gonna run out of money. You're gonna have to sell your body to the night, just like the Police song.
Yep.
And you're not gonna be able to come back. And I guess the thing that scared me most about doing it was like, I'm gonna be behind everyone else that entered the workforce and went into it. Now, I can tell I tell people without a doubt that it's probably an invaluable life experience that you should get because you have the rest of your life to go and check into a cubicle under fluorescent lights and fight for promotions and fight for climbing the corporate ladder if that's where you go. So give yourself that year, give yourself those 2 years, because you seem to be happy with it. And your tan hasn't faded yet, so that's good.
Yeah, right. Thanks, though. I appreciate it.
But Greg, I feel like you're with me on this one, where it's like, given the opportunity, if I said I can give you a month to go travel the world or just stay home and do nothing, what would you do?
Nothing. Big time.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything.
That's
Have
the
you
thing.
though? Because I mean, that's obviously right where I'm at. Like, everybody knows that I don't want to do anything.
Right.
But like,
Have
you done the traveling things? Because I've never been out of America.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, you figure I just went to Mexico not too long ago, which wasn't. I mean, it was a resort, so whatever. We did that week in Japan 2 Thanksgivings ago, right, where we went out with Scott, Cindy, Shuhei, Warren Price, and all them, and hung out for a week in Japan. That was awesome. I'd love to do that again, but yeah, like I just don't feel that pull ever. You know what I mean? Like I look at photos of Thailand, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Looks really crowded. Looks really hot.
It's really hot.
It's funny though, because I actually feel
It's
kind
rad,
of
though.
bad about it. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong because like I see him talking about shit and like he sounds super happy.
Well,
and
I
I
know,
feel like
it's
there's a
what's
lot
funny-
of other motherfuckers that are just really judgy about it, to the point that I feel like I'm living wrong. Where I'm like,
You're not.
shit, is it messed up that I do just like sitting in front of my computer and watching YouTube videos, like about anything? It's not like I'm just wasting my life away. I am, but it's like I'm learning shit. I'm experiencing things. I'm enjoying stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's not to say I don't like going places.
No,
like,
I mean-
Hawaii was one of my favorite places in the world going to.
Okay.
Being able to jump
That
off.
kind of counts.
I mean, yeah, I guess kinda. Hawaii's like the weird mix. You know,
It's
where
the
it's like
stepson
it's not
of
really
America.
America.
It's tropical,
it is.
but it's westernized and
Like,
everything.
and I love
yeah.
jumping off cliffs and shit.
Yeah,
Like that's
fun.
awesome.
He does it all the time.
It's a big. I'm
We
a
have
big
to
fan
stop
of it.
him sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Tim
gonna get
that
dangerous.
doesn't have it
But
in
I
the
just
bottom of the rocks.
I don't have the drive at all to go. You know,
I feel like
sleep
I
in a
get drives
forest.
for very specific places. I love Japan. I've been to Japan. I enjoyed Japan. When we went to Germany for Gamescom back in the day when it was still Leipzig or whatever, I was like, this is fine. I don't really feel drawn to come back. You know what I mean? That's why people love Cologne now, and it's different, so I'm sure one day I'll make it out there. I really want to go to London, and granted, I think that's probably because it would be the one I'd understand from the get-go.
Yeah, get some
except for all
cheeky
their-
Nando's,
half
right?
their words and their U's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like, I would get the feeling of that. I would understand. Ireland, I think's cool. I could get down with Ireland once in a while. New Zealand all tucked away up north like that. That'd be a hard
Right
one to
by
go
Sweden.
to. Yeah, exactly. Colin, you just went to Iceland.
Yeah.
That's also right by
You hated
New
it.
Zealand.
You said
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I didn't say it was terrible. I just said I was there for way too long. I think that I've been overseas 5 times, and the common theme is I've been to Japan twice, I've been to Europe 3 times, and the common theme is I've had a lot of fun on 4 of those trips. Well, I mean, Iceland was fine too. I was just there for way too fucking long. The common theme when I go overseas is always like, how long do I have to be here until I can go home? That's like basically. Like, the minute I land, I'm like, all right, this is fun. Even in Japan, I have a lot of fun in Japan, but I'm always like, all right, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, and then I can finally go home. Like, I just don't like being out of the States that much. I just don't. It's not like, I know it's a typical American thing, but I've been overseas. I'll go overseas again. It's just that I don't really enjoy traveling. Like, especially in the United States, like, it goes for the U.S. and for overseas. I've been to a lot of places in the United States. Like, I mean, off the top of my head, maybe 30 states, right? Like, and maybe more, and it's just like, okay, like I kind of just want to go home. Like this is fun, you know. But like I don't have that travel bug. I don't have that travel gene. When I go to Canada, I feel the same way. It's like I don't count that overseas at all. I mean, it's not really like another country. It's basically the United States. But I just don't feel like being somewhere else. I don't.
But is it different for you to travel within the United States versus, like, do you get a different feeling like when we went to Atlanta, for instance, which was Hotlanta? Is that different than if you're like, okay, I know I'm going to be gone? Because we were gone for what, 3 or 4 days to MomoCon? Mm-hmm. Is that different than saying like, okay, we're going to do like a week trip for you to Tokyo? I mean, granted, there's the air flight, but is the same concept of like being away? Does that apply to the United States versus outside?
Yeah,
or is it
somewhat.
just easier to travel within the United
No,
States?
it's definitely easier to travel with the U.S. It's the currency. It's you can understand things. You know, I'll stick by it for the rest of my life. We eat the best here. But you know, especially in the South, I like we had our conversation on GameOverGreggy. I know people don't agree with it. I think Southern food is the best food I've ever had anywhere else. Period. In any country.
And we know that we saw you trying to stuff like mac and cheese in your pockets before we left.
Yeah.
That Vortex place, I know you call him at night and say, "Come on, ship to California."
Yeah, just give me some of that gravy.
Just
Describe them.
But it's just not travel. It's just not for me. Like I'm with you, Greg, where it's just like I want to retire one day and just not do anything. Like I told you, my uncle is doing that right now. He sold his house on the island. He moved to Virginia with like some of my other family members that have all kind of migrated out of the island because it's so fucking expensive. And I remember talking to him, being like, "So what are you gonna do? You gonna play golf? He's like, "I'm not gonna do anything. Just do whatever." And I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome.
See, this
like
is
you just
interesting
wake
to
up
me,
and you
though.
just
It's like,
do whatever.
I feel like we're in the minority, or it's just the people
we
that
definitely
like
are
traveling
minority.
are just very loud
Well,
about it.
it's definitely a cultural thing with America. Like, I mean, when I was abroad, like you see like 18-year-old like British kids and Australian kids, like German kids, and they just do their gap year, just part of their culture.
Yeah.
It's like you should just go out and travel. Like in America, it's more of just like a lot of people that are going to travel, it's like, oh, well, I'll do a semester abroad, or I'll do like Peace Corps or something. It's always like Americans, we have a very good work ethic. So
Right,
it's like
there's a motivation
it's
to
like
it, right?
if we're going to go out and travel, it's like we have to be working while we're doing it or accomplishing something. Like just to go travel to travel seems silly to us. And like the only reason that I really went and travel is because I had a friend that did it. So then he kind of just like told me about it. He's like, oh yeah, you should go and do this. It's like, why would you just go and travel just to travel? But then I did it. I was like, oh yeah, it's good. And like I just don't feel like that message doesn't get out there. It's just not a cultural thing over here. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you don't want to travel, you don't have to travel. Like people enjoy different things.
Yeah, I'm not judging the people that travel. I do feel like some people that travel and do judge sometimes, not necessarily you, but do judge people that don't like to travel because I think they correlate it with culture, which I think is nonsense. I think you can gain culture by reading. I think you can gain culture by listening and watching and viewing things. I don't think necessarily there's a lot of people that don't have the means or the desire to go overseas. And so I don't think there's necessarily a correlation. I am not more cultured because I've been to Europe 3 times and I've been to Japan twice. Sorry, I'm not. I'm much more cultured in the things I've read and the things that I know. Like then, so I think that there's like an unnecessary correlation between those two things that I think makes some people snooty about it. But I think also in the United States, I think that we are just isolated from the rest of the world. Like in Europe, you can stumble into another country if you
To that point, there's if like the population of like Americans that have their passports and Canadians. And Americans, it's like 30% or something. Canadians is 50%, and those motherfuckers are everywhere. Like you can't go anywhere without seeing somebody with like the Canadian flag on them, and they're everywhere. Yeah, but no, it's nothing against Canadians. I'm just saying.
I went to college with them. I know all about it.
Yeah.
I know Mitch Dyer, and I don't like him.
I remember when I was a freshman in college, someone had a Canadian flag in the dorm window, and across the way, someone was playing "Blame Canada" like really loud, trying to piss them off from South Park. But no, I just think like I think if people want to go travel overseas and do it like that, sound like your experience would give me fucking crazy anxiety. It's just not something for me. I don't
not knowing where you're gonna be next and how much money and how that would drive me nuts.
Especially in no offense, but like in some third world countries or whatever, where it's just like
you see
I don't
some
know.
shit, yeah.
I'm just like I don't know. I get no offense. I mean, live how you want to live and do what you want, but I mean that's just not for me. I understand that we pay an arm and a leg to live here, but I really do think that we have some excuses. We are separated by the rest of the world by two huge oceans. Mm-hmm. We have a humongous geographical country that has desert and tundra and beaches, beautiful beaches, and like we basically, I think I'm not saying there's nothing we could find overseas that we don't have here, but geographically we pretty much have everything, especially if you include Alaska and Hawaii. So, which I would. So. It's just like I can. There's just a lot of excuses of why we don't need to leave. Like if you grew up in the Netherlands or something like that, like you could just fall into Belgium, like or France or like like it's not. So I can understand being a European, for instance, and then Canada has a kindred connection to Europe, so it makes sense to me that they would travel and all that kind of stuff since they are British in their own way. So it's, I don't know. I just think our culture doesn't necessarily preclude us traveling, but I understand why we don't, and I understand why people around the world judge us for that. But I would encourage people to not judge us based on that. Our culture doesn't necessarily come from just seeing things, but rather like I know people that I know people that have been overseas that are the most uncultured motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. So there's no correlation between those kinds of things.
Because there is I mean, I'm not going to disagree and say we have everything like everything we could ever want in this country. Like I've came back very
hashtag blessed.
Yeah, no, not hashtag blessed, but very appreciative of like what I had growing up, and it's just kind of to go abroad. It's not more or less to see things, because you'll see a lot of stuff that you've already seen, but it's just the cultural part. Like you get to see. There are a lot of things that we do great in this country, and I'm very proud of that. But there are some things that could probably use some work. It's just kind of cool to see how other people do things. So that's good to see. And like you do see people that just kind of go out and they're just like, oh, I'm going to India to go to India. It's like, oh, the Indian food tastes so much better when you eat it with your hands. Like, no. It tastes the exact same. Like they just want to sound like snooty. It's like, just get out of here. Like go to like experience the people. Like a lot of people go and they just like they'll just go to stay at the I don't want to bash your honeymoon here, but like they'll just go and they'll stay at the resorts, and you
fucking privileged American.
But they just go and they do the same things that you do in the United States. Like it's like, oh, I go out on the weekends and I drink. It's like I go out and then they just do that in another country. If you're just staying on the resort and just doing that, you're just going to see the same stuff. It's just going to be slightly different weather, and it'll just be a slightly different feel. But when you actually go out and kind of try to
live with them,
get involved with the people, it kind of opens your eyes to like just different ways.
Yeah, and that's something, and that's sort of my point that we were talking earlier before we did the show was that most of our travels, especially together and when we were at IGN, were really around work, and so you weren't getting that experience. You were going, if you were on the video team, you were often carrying a ton of gear. That you had to worry about getting through in and out of customs, which was always a fun experience, always different, always unique.
Carnet.
The carnet form was what it's called, and no matter what you did, you would present that to the customs official, and they would have no idea what you were talking about until they found the one guy that knew it was up and had the stamp. And so there is that sort of anxiety that comes when you say travel with me, where it's okay, I have to go do work. But what I've never done, and which is something that my wife has done, which is give herself that year to be like, just go exist, go embed yourself in a different society, in a different culture, and just see. Maybe you won't like it. Maybe it sucks. Maybe it's completely different. But she has such a different perspective on the world than I do. And it's not like it's better or worse, but I think it is to some degree a little bit more broad than my perspective.
Right.
Whereas I happen to think that, I would be perfectly fine with never, ever, ever leaving my house. Maybe to come to here once a day. But then beyond that,
We should get houses that attach, and then you can just come through the wall.
you're really big into the attached thing. Every time we stay in a hotel, you're like, "Can we please get rooms that attach?" And I feel like it's
First off,
because you want
that
to come
started
jump
as
on my
a
bed.
team joke, and then I'm just the only one who ever walks up
No,
first.
I
so-
like it. Yeah, I would support the attachment for sure.
I know you would, Kevin.
I want the attached houses too.
I would totally do all that, but I want you to know
Yeah,
that if
we
Kevin
get 4
comes over and
houses
jumps on
attached,
my
there's
bed,
doors that open up in the middles. And
Yeah,
then,
like the Beatles movie.
You never leave.
No, you could take the 4th house. I'll be in Montana somewhere on a fucking on a survivalist compound.
waiting for the Russians to invade.
Jacob, I want to wrap it up, but I want 2 things from you. One, what brought you home? Like, what was it? When did you? Were you like, all right, now it's time to end this journey and come home? And then 2, like, is there like a takeaway you have from it? Is there something you learned from this whole thing?
So yeah, I mean, I came home because traveling on a budget eventually gets very tiresome, and I'm like, I just want to sleep in my own bed. I just want to be able to just kind of wake up. Like, you want to get back into the routine eventually. After a while, you can only do it for so long. Like, you have a certain amount of endurance. And I went a lot. I was just expecting to leave initially for like 3 months, maybe 6, and a year and a half. I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, I was thinking of going to South America. I'm going to go to South America eventually, but I needed to take a break and come back and just be home and see my family and everything. Like, and going a year and a half without good Mexican food is the toughest thing I have ever
Oh,
done.
man.
I can't go
It's
3 days without
rough. It was rough. So that was yeah. I just wanted to come home. I was getting homesick, but yeah, the takeaway. I mean, it's just good to. I really just kind of. Really just became appreciative of everything that I have here, because I mean, you see a whole different level of like human suffering if you do go into other places, like the what is it, the tenderloin, that's poor by our standards, but if you go other places, it's just kind of crazy to see what people deal with in like other countries and how they get by. Like, it's crazy, like in how inventive they are, just how, because they have to do everything themselves. Like, you'll go through Thailand and people will be fixing their own bikes, making their own food, and just like they just know how to do everything because they don't have the luxury of paying people to do things for them. So I mean, it's good to come back and just be, we kind of have a culture where we're always looking at what we don't have and we work towards to get those things. It's kind of nice to just be able to sit back and be like, okay, these are things that I do have, and you can appreciate these things.
Well, I'll give you. The poor in the United States definitely do struggle, but I've always been intrigued by this Heritage Foundation thing. To this point, Heritage Foundation's like kind of a conservative think tank or whatever. They release these stats about the classification of poor in the United States and why that word might not mean what we think it means. So based on the United States, poor, like what poor means, which I think is like whatever amount of money, 80% of poor households have air conditioning. 92% of poor households have a microwave in the United States. Nearly 3/4 have a car or truck, and 31% have 2 or more cars or trucks. So like that, it's all relative. Nearly 2/3 have cable or satellite TV. 2/3 have at least 1 DVD player, and 70% have a VCR. These stats roll. Half have a personal computer, and 1 in 7 have 2 or more computers. More than half of poor families and children have video game systems. 43% have internet access. 1/3 have a widescreen plasma or LCD TV. 1/4 have a digital video recorder system such as TiVo. That's what it means to be poor in the United States. Yeah. So it is all
different
it is.
standard.
Yeah, it's totally
It's very relative. Yeah.
So I always go back to that Heritage Foundation thing. 'Cause I'm like, it's all when we throw that word around, we throw that word around very fucking loosely. You want to see poor,
Go to India.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome home, Jacob.
Yeah. Thanks. It's good to be back.